Prepare for me to show you my age on this one. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, and this is another installment in the Quest for the Best, the video series that we were doing all month long, in which I'm looking back at the movies that everyone called the best films of 2016. I'm going to watch as many of them as I can, all leading up to my top 10 movies of 2016 that we are going to do at the end of the month, and I'm going to give you my open, honest reactions to each of these films. And today we are talking about Sing Street. Holy cow, that was a mouthload. I have to figure out a way to make these intros shorter. So this film is an independent film that really kind of snuck under the radar. Not a lot of people really went out and saw it. It didn't open in many theaters, but the people who did see it really enjoyed it. Like, I think it has like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It's like one of the highest rated films of the year, and it's currently on Netflix. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, you can watch it on Netflix for free. So there's no need to go out there and try and find it in a Redbox or some other dingy, dank corner of wherever people buy DVDs these days. I have not bought an actual physical DVD in the longest time. It just hit me right now. But yes, you can watch this on Netflix. And this film, the best way that I can sum it up is basically, imagine if back in the 80s, John Hughes went over to Ireland, made a secret movie over there, didn't tell anybody, and we just uncovered it now. Like, he just made this film and then locked it up in like one of those time capsules and was just unearthed. Because there have been so many films out there recently that have been like tributes to the 80s, been kind of a nostalgic rush. There have been a lot of TV shows too. I talked about Stranger Things recently, which that show did wonderfully. But when it comes to movies, I don't think that a lot of films really capture that sense of 80 films, or that sense of just living in the 80s or the music of the 80s. And typically when they do try and capture especially the music of the 80s, it feels more like just listening to, now that's what I call 80s music. And I gotta be honest with you, I love music from the 80s. Music from the 80s and 70s are some of my favorite songs of all time. That is my favorite 2 decades of music. And this film is, I'm bringing up music a lot because that is the central focus of this film. This film was actually written and directed by, at least I believe it was written by, I know it was definitely directed by, but it was directed by the same guy who did Once a couple of years ago. You know, that film that had that really sad guitar song in there that won the Oscar that makes everybody cry as soon as they hear it? Try not to think about it! Okay, I'm sorry, when Michelle isn't here to do these with me, I make really terrible jokes. Anyway, I make really terrible jokes when Michelle is here. Anywho, so this is a film about this kid in Ireland in the 80s. And back in the 80s, Ireland was really going through an uneven time. I guess that's the best way to sum it up. A lot of families were struggling. There's a lot of financial insecurity at the moment. And this focuses on a family where it's the younger brother that we're following, and he's got an older brother who is basically just a burnout. He's a dropout. He is basically the town flunky. He's the one that everyone in town is like, oh, stay away from that guy. He's trouble. And the parents are trying to figure out what they're going to do about money, so they have to start cutting back. So they're going to take this kid out of private school, and they're now going to put him in public school. And when they tell him that, he freaks out. And then when you see what public schools were like in Ireland back in the 80s, you understand, because it is basically like a miniature episode of Oz. Like, it is just basically going to a prison for him. Like, he is going in there, the teachers, the priests who are running the place, they're just incredibly cruel. They are very, I don't want to say like sadistic, but they are very much like, you have to do it this way, there is no other way. Like, they are so incredibly strict. But also, just in the playground, there's kids beating the crap out of each other, like openly, like busting their heads against each other, and he's just like, oh god, I'm going to die in this place. In fact, there's a bully, as soon as he gets there, who almost kills him. Like, who is threatening his life. Like, I went to some pretty rough schools. I had some bullies threaten my life before. This is one of the first times I've seen it in a film in which I went, yep, that was always my worst nightmare. So, kudos to the film on capturing that feeling instantly. But he's there at the school, he's trying to meet some people, and one day he is hanging out at the school and he sees this attractive girl across the street, and he decides, alright, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go up and talk to her. And he goes up and tries to talk to her, and his opening line is, do you want to be in the music video for my band? And she's like, you're in a band? She's like, oh yeah, totally. She's like, okay, well, sing something for me. Take on me. Well, I can't sing right now. I can't do it without my band around me. Like, here's the thing. You can probably guess right away. This kid is not in a band. He has no band. He has no musical talent, can't play anything. He can play the guitar. That is something that he can do. We have seen him do that so far in the film. But he just goes up to this girl and just lies to try and impress her. And listen, this is going to be a terrible thing to say, but I looked at him and was like, I probably would have done the same. I never, like, when I was growing up and I was trying to figure out how on earth do I talk to women, I always had the thought of, like, I can't talk to a woman as myself. They don't want to get to know me. I gotta go in there as someone else. And it's not like I ever told women, like, big lies. Never at all. Never, like, lied about who I was. But, you know, I fully understood the feeling that this kid had, where he was like, I have to impress this person. It's like, yeah, we've all kind of been there. We've all been like, we really need to figure out what to say that will impress and instantly win this person over. So she agrees to do it, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta get a band together. So he starts trying to find kids in this school to become part of his band. So he just gets together with like this ragtag team of young musicians. Every single one of them is a little bit quirky. Every single one of them has like their own like weird, unique quirk about them. Like one of them just loves rabbits. He's got a ton of rabbits in his house. Another one's like a pair of brothers who they're got this weird thing going on. I will say one of my complaints with this film right here off the bat is that they don't really explore these other kids that much. Like the rabbit kid, you get to know a little bit about him, and then there is this short kid who is the manager of the band. You get to, you see him a bit in there, but aside from that, you don't really get to know the rest of the people in this band. So that was one thing I wish they had worked a little bit more on. But anyway, they start writing songs together, and they start like just grabbing whatever they can find around the house to try and shoot these music videos with, and they enjoy it. And the thing is, they find they actually kind of have a natural talent for this. They actually are a pretty good band. And I opened this thing up by saying that my favorite decades of music are the 70s and 80s, because I have heard so many people try and pay homage to music from the 80s. This sounds like 80s music. Like, every song in here is original. And yet, it sounds like they just uncovered some secret band from the 80s that you never knew about who should have been a smash hit. Like, every single song in here is like, this does not sound like a ripoff of 80s music. This sounds like 80s music, and it's really darn good. Like, I can't even think of the last time that after I saw a film, I went out and bought the soundtrack for it. I did that with this one. This is one of the few times in my life that I've ever been like, I need to own this soundtrack. I started off on iTunes just buying track by track, and then eventually it got to the point in which it was like, if you just spend another $1.60, you get this whole album. And I was like, wow, I had not even realized I was like loving that many songs. Yeah, all the songs are fantastic in here. Now, I will say a couple of the complaints I have with this film, I already mentioned that we don't really cover the rest of the band that much, but this takes place over the course of a year. As he grows closer to this girl, you find out about her problems. There's this whole like roller coaster ride between these two characters. You also see him kind of like getting a little bit more famous at school because of this band, and like you constantly see them keep coming in every single week in different outfits. Which I thought was kind of a nice little homage to all the different styles of music from the 80s. It was basically them trying to say, we're trying to figure out who we want to be right now. So they kept coming in different styles that you could identify as like, okay, that's what this band wore back then, this is what that band wore back then. I actually thought that was kind of neat. But if you stop for a second and actually think about stuff like that logically in this film, it doesn't add up, because this film starts off with him going to the new school, and one of the priests is saying, wear your black shoes. You're wearing brown shoes. You're not allowed to wear brown shoes. You have to wear black shoes. And he's like, my family's too poor to buy black shoes. We can't we can't afford black shoes. I didn't know this was going to be a problem. Like, so he gets in trouble for that because he can't afford black shoes. And I was like, oh man, that really shows what kind of situation he's in. But then as the movie goes on, like I said, they've got different outfits every single week. Like, they're coming in a weird, crazy getup every single week. And I was like, I didn't think about it as I was watching it. This was something that like hit me after I saw the film. I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of a problem in this thing. Also, the way that it ends, if you were going to, I know a lot of people who are split on the ending of this. And typically when I do these little summaries, these little reaction videos, sorry, this has got a giant neck on it. I don't know why I decided to wear this today. My bad. Let's all just address that elephant in the room. But when it comes to the ending of this, I'm not going to spoil it because I love the ending of this. I thought the ending was emotional. It really touched me. I feel like the best way I can sum up the ending of this is the anti-The Graduate. And I say that because I think that this is a great film for younger people to watch. For anybody who's in college or high school, I think this is a fantastic film for you to watch. And I remember when I was 19, I watched The Graduate like a week before my birthday. And The Graduate is about a guy turning 20 and just his life gets destroyed by all of his bad decisions. And it's got one of the most depressing, like, just fills you with a void in your heart endings to a film I've ever seen. And it just messed me up. And as I was watching this and when it got to the ending, I thought, I needed to watch this film back then immediately after seeing The Graduate. Like right after I had seen The Graduate, this would have neutralized that. Because it just really spoke to me at that point in my life. It really would have lifted me up. So I think it's a fantastic film for anybody out there to watch, and hopefully it will inspire you guys to go on and do something great. But at the same time, I've heard other people out there saying, yeah man, no way would the ending of this film actually have worked. They'd be dead. They would not survive what they did there. And I've heard a lot of people criticize it for saying, yeah man, that's kind of a terrible message to put in your film. And I can see it both ways. To me, it was the positive ending. To me, it was the happy, uplifting ending. To me, it was the ending that this film needed. To me, it really touched me. But at the same time, I understand other people's arguments. If you walk away from this film going, that ending is terrible. How dare they try and romanticize that? I get it. I fully understand. Just saying, for me, it worked. So yeah, honestly, this is a film where I understand that there are some plot holes. You can't really look at it as if it, happened realistically. But this is a film, this is a love story. And love stories typically are, love stories are typically romanticized. No duh. Love stories are typically exaggerated. They typically do take these things that could not happen and they do kind of blow it up. I mean, for example, there's a moment in here in which they have a big dance number. And it's a dream sequence. It's a dream sequence in this kid's head. And I know some people who are criticizing that. Again, almost everyone loved it out there. But like the one critics who I actually listen to on a regular basis, they really did not enjoy this at all. So I'm kind of addressing them in a way. But they were criticizing that dream sequence because it was like, yeah, it just takes you completely out of the film. But I absolutely love that dream sequence because A, the song was fantastic during it. B, it was just a lot of fun. But C, the dream sequence also features a lot of the things that are going wrong in this kid's life instantly being fixed by this song. I was like, it's a dream sequence in this kid's head. It's kind of speaking to all the stuff he's going through right now. It is really speaking to how crappy his life has become and how he just kind of wants to fix it all right now, and I understood it. So I think this is a film that takes a really depressing situation for a kid and really kind of makes it a little bit magical, makes it a little bit fun, makes it uplifting and motivational. So again, that's one of the reasons why I'm saying I think it's a really important film for a lot of kids to watch. I will also say I have yet to talk about the brother in this film. I'm not going to bother looking up his name. I will just put it right here. Unless I forget to. I am known to do stuff like that. But the brother, I have one small complaint, which is that he is doing an Irish accent in the film. And if he was in a room full of Americans trying to do Irish accents, you probably wouldn't have noticed. You probably would have gone, it's a pretty good Irish accent. But he's in a room full of actual Irish people doing really thick Irish accents, and he doesn't match up at all. Like I said, if he was in a room of other Americans doing Irish accents, it'd be like, okay, yeah, this sounds like Irish people. But when you're comparing it to 3 other actual super Irish people, it's like, nah, man, it doesn't match up. And it does take you out a little bit. But just speaking to his character, I loved his character. His character is, like I said, he was the dropout, he was the burnout, he was the guy that everyone in town points to as the loser. But he's also the one who's there for his brother. When everything is just collapsing on his brother, he's the one who's there for him. And it really speaks to him because, like, you see all the terrible stuff that this kid is dealing with, and when you see him, they're trying to help him with it. It's like, man, you're this way because you didn't have someone to help you with this. And then there actually comes a moment in here in which he stops the movie to just talk to his brother and go, listen, do you think that this was great before you got here? I had to suffer everything from them, and after you got here, I was protecting you this whole time. I am the way that I am because I've been dealing with all this crap. Like, he just basically lays it out there and makes you go, dang, he is a loser character, but is an amazing brother. Like, yes, you would look at this guy and be like, yeah, dropout, burnout, all that stuff. The one thing this character has done right is he has been there for his brother. He is such a great character in this film. So yeah, as I said, this film, I had a blast with it. It really moved me. I love this. The music is amazing in here. Does have some small plot holes, I'll put that out there. And if you don't dig on the ending, I understand, but I dug the ending. So that Sing Street is up on Netflix right now. I can almost guarantee at this point it will end up on my top 10 favorite films of the year. So if you happen to see it, let me know in the comments down below what you felt about it. And if you want to see my other little reactions to the other best of the year films that I am reviewing, make sure you click on the playlist at the end of this. But if you want to see something different and you want to see the gauntlet of garbage in which I watch the worst films of 2016, the playlist for that will also be up at the end of this. So thanks for watching, everyone. Come back later. Bye.